Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to be here today. I'm very honored and proud to be here with all of you. My son, Senior Airman Shannon, loved being in the Air Force. He wanted to be a lifer. He recently returned from his first deployment to Qatar, was applying for a job in intelligence, and was one test away from being promoted to Staff Sergeant. For all intent and purposes, Shannon had the world by the tail. On Saturday, January 5th, 2019, Mitch and I had just finished taking down the Christmas decorations, sitting down in our lanai to unwind with a glass of wine. At 8:02 p.m., both of our phones received a text message. The text was from our son, Shannon, who was stationed in Maryland at Joint Base Andrews, Security Forces. It was a picture of a handwritten note. The note mentioned his love for us, his friends, and went on to say, "This is nobody's fault. Please remember me fondly. The stress life has given me has finally broken my will to live." It was a suicide note. I frantically tried calling and texting him while Mitch called 911 to get the police to his apartment in Alexandria, Virginia. Though they got there within 12 minutes of the initial text, it was too late. Our precious boy was dead by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. You fear when your child joins the military, especially security forces as with our son, you may lose him in combat. But Mitch and I were not prepared to lose our child by his own hand. Shannon was 25 years old. We soon learned a staggering statistic. Suicide among our military far exceeds any other category and needs to be recognized. An average of 22 veterans commit suicide every single day. That's 154 a week, 660 a month, and over 8,000 of our heroes lost by their own hand every single year. Think about that for a moment. Sadly, based on recent studies, researchers feel it's closer to 45 a day, because they're not counting drug overdoses or other disputed causes of death that are not included in these statistics. Retired Marine General Robert Neller said in an interview in 2018 that in 4 years, he lost 224 of his Marines to suicide. He lost 4 to combat. In the Air Force alone, the rate in 2015 to 2018 was 60 suicides per year. But then in 2019, it spiked to 84 and jumped again to 109 in 2020 and 2021. Suicide rates among active duty military members are currently at an all-time high since record keeping began after 9/11 and have been steadily increasing over the last 5 years. In fact, some branches of the armed forces are experiencing their highest rates of suicide since before World War II. In 2021, research found that 30,177 active duty personnel and veterans who served in the military after 9/11 have died by suicide, compared to 7,057 service members killed in combat in those same 20 years. In other words, military suicide rates are 4 times higher than deaths that occurred in military operations. I tried to gather statistics on our beloved first responders. Especially in this political climate and with the pandemic, their suicide rates are climbing rapidly. Sadly, I found just drastically conflicting numbers and inconsistent data. I did learn that more police officers die by suicide than in the line of duty. A national Florida State University study of firefighters found that nearly 50% had suicidal thoughts at some point during their career, and 16% reported one or more suicide attempts. What truly alarmed me is I found that there is no official national database that tracks these numbers. How can we help our community heroes if no one's paying attention? Life has its miracles and unexpected circumstances. Don't blink or you may miss them. In 2021, one of the Blue Star moms, Jean Fell, saw Mitch and I being interviewed on Week News. She looked up my address and invited me to a tea that the Blue Star mothers were hosting for the Gold Star mothers. I was nervous and hesitant, but accepted the invitation. The day arrived. It was ominous, overcast sky, mirroring my emotions. I was shaking and my legs were weak as I slowly walked towards the building. I almost turned around and ran back to my car when I saw the sea of Gold Star license plates. Could you see, as to how we lost our son, I honestly didn't feel I deserved to be there. But that day proved just the opposite. These amazing warrior moms embraced me, showed me unconditional love, and that I did belong. That path led me to join the Southwest Florida chapter of the Amazing American Gold Star Mothers. I was honored when after just 6 months of joining, I was asked to be president of a new chapter for just Charlotte and Sarasota counties. I came up with what I feel is a fitting name, the Peace River chapter. We received our charter in March of 2022. Our current efforts have been helping our homeless veterans. I found that so many people ask me, what is a Gold Star mother, even veterans and their families? Well, it all started back in World War I. The Blue Star flag was created as a symbol for families that had a child in the military to hang in their window. It was introduced during World War I and accepted by the Department of Defense after World War II, representing a child serving in the armed forces in war or hostile areas. The blue star represents hope and pride. The red border represents the blood given by so many of our warriors in defense of our country or for democracy. The white represents purity of spirit and peace. Sadly, when a service member dies from combat, service-related death, illness, suicide, or an accident while on active duty, the blue is covered with a gold star. This represents courage, supreme sacrifice given to the cause of liberty and freedom. You may have noticed American Gold Star mothers always wear white when representing our organization, which I hate wearing white. In 1918, it's so unflattering. In 1918, President Wilson approved the recommendation that instead of wearing the conventional black when mourning the loss of a relative that died in service of our country, American women should wear white in honor of their children who has given their life for our great nation. White represents their goodness, sacrifice, and innocence of our brave children. When tragedy strikes, it's truly hard to see past the pain and darkness, but it boils down to this. We have two choices to move forward, anger or hope. Mitch and I chose hope. With faith, and if we tried, we could stop this from happening to at least one lost soul and family. This path has led us to many ways of serving our country, which helps us heal, especially on the days when all we want to do is curl up into a ball on the floor. Serving others actually saves us every single day. I'm on the board of directors of Holly's Hope of Northport. Holly was a middle school teacher that sadly took her own life in 2017. Her parents, friends, and former students formed Holly's Hope, a nonprofit focused on removing the social stigma associated with depression, suicide, and mental health issues in general. We are committed to finding new avenues, providing assistance for those struggling as well as their families. Our current focus is programs to help our first responders. We're also involved with bringing awareness to bullying in school. We've participated and sponsored anti-bullying programs locally to bring awareness to the community, parents, and children. Mitch and I are both Mission 22 ambassadors, board members for the Florida chapter of Tribute to the Troops, as well as we were both recently asked to serve on the board of directors for My Warriors Place. For over a year now, Mitch and I have discussed our desire to start our own nonprofit in Chemours honor. Early this year, we took the plunge and started Operation Solid 7. When Chemours was stationed in Qatar, he sent us a picture of himself, armed to the teeth, standing in front of an armored vehicle. Mitch texted back, "Damn son, you're one handsome man." He replied, I'm a solid 7. Our mission statement is, we provide support, activities, guidance, and resources in a dignified manner to veterans, active duty, first responders, Gold Star families, and their loved ones. Our goal is to support positive mental health and resilience by combating PTS, depression, anxiety, and other stressors, all in the memory of Senior Airman Shannon S. Messenberg. We have an amazing board of directors. Along with Mitch and I, we have a retired Green Beret, a retired Rhode Island sheriff, a retired Rhode Island police chief that, believe it or not, when he moved to Florida, he missed serving so much, he is now one of our amazing deputies with our rock star Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. Our backgrounds give us the experience related to those we are honored to serve. We are proud of our motto. We chose #ChargeTheStorm. Last October, Mitch was asked by the commander of MacDill Air Force Base to be the keynote speaker at his all-call for the entire base. After Mitch's incredible speech, which by the way is on our website if you want to view the YouTube, Colonel Bingham talked about the importance of resiliency, using the analogy of the difference between cows and buffaloes. When a storm comes, cows run away, which prolongs the misery as they keep getting battered by the storm. Buffalo are very different. They stop, they face the storm, and they charge it, minimizing the pain. That is what Operation Solid 7 wants to assist those struggling with PTS, TBI, or other stressors. Charge your personal storm. Together we can get through it. We'll provide an environment for growth, comfort, healing, and awareness. Examples to name a few but not limited to: kayak tours, fishing trips, dolphin watching, hunting excursion, and of course, cigar therapy. We also have a program called Forever a Warrior. This 3-day, 3-night program supports our American heroes by assisting them to draw upon their own strengths and develop healthy coping mechanisms, to have a better understanding of themselves and how to build better relationships moving forward. The program, as well as all food and lodging, is at no cost to those who have honorably served our country, keeping us safe, secure, and free. As we have found that many of the heroes that have gone through this program wish they had been given this training prior to joining the military, we are in the process of adjusting the format to create a cadet program. We'll start with junior ROTC, Young Marines, Civil Air Patrol, and other youth-oriented groups to arm them with the resiliency, not just to navigate the military, but as they navigate life. We ultimately hope to bring the programs into our schools to help combat bullying. Suicide among our precious children is growing at an alarming rate. We'll be creating podcasts, interviewing veterans and first responders on ways they've been able to deal with their PTS. We partnered with My Warriors Place, which currently is located in Ruskin. It's a retreat started by Gold Star mom Kelly Kowal for veterans, active duty Gold Star families, and first responders. They recently purchased 12.5 acres in Punta Gorda and are moving the retreat to our own backyard. It's gonna be so cool. We are so aligned in our missions, it was a perfect fit. We have also partnered with Deployment Brand Cigars. They have created a Solid 7 Honor cigar, donating a portion of proceeds to our nonprofit. We'll be hosting a cigar bourbon event at the Hollow, located in Venice, in the first quarter of 2024. So stay tuned for more details. It's going to be awesome. August 26th, sadly will mark the 2-year anniversary of the tragic withdrawal from Afghanistan. We'll be hosting an event at the new My Warriors Place to honor and remember the fallen 13. We'll be unveiling a permanent memorial, and retired Marine Major General James Hammer Hartzell will be our keynote speaker, along with Pastor Gary Clark from our beloved Fellowship Church. And just to note, we did invite all the families, and so far we're flying Lance Corporal Espinosa's family in from Texas, so they'll be joining us at the event. We have so many wonderful veterans and first responders in Southwest Florida. Let's all work together to give them the support and help that they need. It takes a community to heal a warrior. Mitch and I never imagined our life on this journey of service to this magnitude, especially with this mission. But with love and by the grace of God, we found our why. I'd like to close with a quote that truly hit home after the loss of our son. It's by a person that none of us thought would die by suicide. He was larger than life. He made the whole world laugh. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind, always. Robin Williams. My name is Shannon Messenberg, and Senior Airman Shimon Messenberg is my wife. Thank you.